Hello and welcome to the Race All-Star Esports Battle. This is the third round of this new initiative to try and keep motorsport going when unfortunately there isn't any going on in the real world. We're sim racing using R-Factor 2 and we have some incredible drivers racing today. Formula 1 drivers up against Formula E drivers, World Endurance Championship drivers, IndyCar drivers, NASCAR drivers, the list goes on and on. And they will be all going head to head with some sim racing heroes at the Silverstone National Circuit. So the way this race event is going to work is that you have two groups of professional racing drivers. They have a race each, and the top 5 advance through to the final. Then there's a last chance qualifier for those that haven't made it through yet to try and bag 5 spaces on the grid. And then it's the turn of the sim racers. 20 of those will go head to head for the final 5 spots in the grand final. And then we have our final of 20 as they battle it out to take the All-Star Esports Battle crown. An exciting addition to this event is the new Legends race, where we take legends of motorsport racing against each other from their homes in 1970s Formula 1 cars. They're in Brabham BT44s, and we've got some huge names competing. Dario Franchitti, 3-time Indy 500 winner, is up against Emerson Fittipaldi, a 2-time Formula 1 world champion, up against Juan Pablo Montoya, a Formula 1 race winner from the 2000s. It really is a really exciting grid and a new addition which is going to be fantastic to watch. My name is Jack Nichols. Alongside, well, not alongside me, but not even near me, also with me talking is Jolyon Palmer. I'm in my shed at the bottom of the garden, Jimmy Broadbent style. Jolyon, where are you?
I'm in a shell of a house actually at the moment. So my Wi-Fi is pretty bad, and this is first world problems in Corona time. So I've come to my sister's where there is nothing but some good Wi-Fi. So I'm here.
Okay, yeah, great. The Silverstone circuit, Jolyon, talk to us about that.
Silverstone National, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a very short lap, basically 4 corners, Copse, Maggots, Beckett's, which is kind of a left into a right-hand hairpin. Long slog down to Brooklands and then Luffield, the final corner. I'm actually quite excited for it, to be honest, because the field will be so close. It'll be milliseconds separating probably first down half the grid. So the overtake opportunities should be high, lots of long straights as well. So I think we're actually going to be in for some thrilling racing. I think I'm excited for it.
I'll just read you some of the drivers out in Group 1. We got Johnny Adam, Jimmy Broadbent, Nick Cassidy, Juan Manuel Correa is back in that one. We got Tom Dillman, Charlie Eastwood, Sophia Flörsch entering the fray. Maxime Martin in there as well. Jimmy Broadbent, the esports racer, is back with us. Tom Dillman, the Formula 2 race winner in the past. And so some of these drivers are familiar and some of them are a little bit new for us. James Headley, the British F4 and Ginetta Junior champion from last year, is entering the series as well. So who are you looking for in this heat, Jolyon? I think this is going to be, no one actually really stands out for me in this one.
John Cadea. I mean, he won last time, didn't he, from the pro races. So I think he's probably going to be the favourite heading into this one, but he wasn't so good in Nürburgring round 1. So what sort of consistency can he bring? And generally, the field is relatively stable. So there's a few new entries, the likes of Sophia Flörsch, which is good to see. But the others might start to get a bit of experience now and build up a bit of a head of steam.
Qualifying for all of these races is just 5 minutes, so the drivers don't have long to set the best lap time. And for the first race, it's Rudy van Buren on pole position. Former Formula 1 driver Stoffel Vandoorne is second on the grid, and Nicky Thiem lines up third. Let's go join the action. The top 5 goes straight through to the final as the race gets underway. Down towards the first corner, Rudy van Buren holds the lead into Copse for the first time. Vandoorne slots into second position. And still Nicky Thiem in third place. A few cars running wide at Copse corner as they now come into Maggots and Beckett's and then loop through the right-hander back out onto the Wellington straight. But a good, clean start for Rudy van Buren.
Yeah, John Cadea hasn't joined the race, I don't think. So he's off. And someone went off to the right, long way as well. But Van Buren's done the main thing. He's 6/10 clear ahead of Vandoorne already, so that's a nice little breather. But Vandoorne's got a bit of a breather as well, back to Thiem. So can he now try and get his head down? And behind, there's already battling side by side. It's Günther and Chavez through Luffield.
Rudy Van Buren coming out and over the line, and he's managed to get 0.8 of a second at the end of the first lap there over Stoffel Van Dorn. That's impressive stuff from Rudy Van Buren. This is the close battle at the moment with Gabby Chavez just behind Max Günther.
Yeah, the thing for Van Dorn is he's not under any pressure behind as well, so he's got a chance to not have to defend, use that slipstream if he just about can to get onto the case of Van Buren. There's a move there.
Side by side as they come down towards the left-hander of Brooklands. Van Dorn in second, team in third. It's still side by side as they come into the left-hander, and Gabby Chavez in sixth place behind Max Günther. Manuel Correa is dropping down the order a little bit. Jimmy Broadbent's up into seventh place. We're on board with Gabby Chavez, trying to chase down Max Günther as they come towards Pop's corner to start lap 3. You can see the effects of the slipstream there, can't you? Really coming in, and Günther has to cover the inside line. Chavez to the outside at Kops. That's not going to work out. Could put him under pressure from Jimmy Broadbent. Chavez, big slide, and Broadbent goes through.
Yeah, he just got on the curb on the outside there, Chavez. Fully committed. Oh, and has he just hit the back of Broadbent as well? I think maybe down at Beckett. So it's all getting a bit much there. Broadbent's gone through. Günther survives in fifth place, and that's the critical one. But look ahead. There's now a big gap that fourth place man Wolfgang Reik is just breached. So the battle is going to be fifth. The top four looks steady, but Reik is right on the back of Nicky Thiem as well. So there could be a bit of fireworks here. That slipstream effect was huge.
Yeah, Thiem just went a little bit wide on the exit of Luffield, and here is the slipstream for Wolfgang. He goes to the inside. Thiem doesn't fight him too hard. Still got to get the job done into Kopp's corner. Thiem tries to hang it around the outside, but Wolfgang Reip is through and up into third position then. And then it's that big gap back to Max Günther in fifth, Jimmy Broadbent in sixth. So close to each other as they come through Beckett's and out onto the Wellington straight again. Rudy Van Buren 1.4 seconds ahead of Stoffel Van Dorn as we stay on board here with Nicky Thiem right behind as they come into Brooklands.
Yeah, just got to try and get a good run through Luffield. This corner now, long right-hander. You can do a couple of lines through it. Thiem really opened it up, but I think didn't quite get the perfect exit either. Now we're on board in the top corner. Let's see how much of a slipstream you can get. Look at it, just getting closer and closer. Wolfgang Reik not going to have to defend into Kopp's corner this time though, and actually Thiem got a bit out of shape just behind him.
Lap 5 of 11. It's the top 5 that's progressed through to the final, and at the moment that's Rudy Van Buren in first place, Stoffel Van Dorn in second position, Wolfgang Reip in third, with Nicky Thiem right behind him in fourth, and Max Günther in fifth, who's just managed to break away from Jimmy Broadbent. He's about a second clear now of Broadbent, and Broadbent is coming under pressure from the 2014 Indy Lights champion, Gabby Chavez. Johnny Adam then behind in eighth spot. Nicky Thiem trying to get back past Wolfgang Reip as they come through the right-hander of Luffield and out onto the start finish straight again to start lap 6 of 11. Rudy Van Buren leading the way. 2.2 seconds ahead of Stoffel Van Dorn in second, Reip in third. This is Jimmy Broadbent then in sixth position. I think he's going to be under a bit of pressure now from Gabby Chavez.
Yeah, Chavez needs to make this through. He was in sixth earlier on, remember. Lost out that position when he had that huge lurid moment on the exit of Kops. But now he's got to come through as quick as possible past Broadbent, because Broadbent just doesn't quite seem as quick as Max Günther ahead. Günther in that critical fifth place, the one that's going to see him through to the final. At the moment, Broadbent and Chavez are just going to miss out. Chavez looks the quicker. Here we go. Can he get a run on the back of Broadbent down towards Kops? Not quite this time. He's too far back.
That is Jimmer in the bottom left on his stream as he comes down into the Magus Beckett's complex again. He's in a decent position here, Broadbent, because he might be in sixth place and missing out as it stands, but any issue for one of the drivers in front, and he advances through to the final as they come down into the left-hander again at Brooklands. But here comes Chavez, not quite close enough. Rudy Van Buren 2.5 seconds up the road now from Stoffel Van Dorn. This is a very commanding drive from Rudy Van Buren out in front. Still close between Broadbent and Chavez. Still close between Wolfgang Reip and Nicky Thiem. Broadbent covers the inside, dramatic look to the inside from Chavez, and he's through. Oh, they bang wheels, and Chavez still manages to make the move past. So Jimmy Broadbent drops down into 7th position now, then behind Gabby Chavez, and up into 6th position for Chavez. So the top, and that was allowed Max Günther quite a bit of breathing space now. So Van Buren, Van Dorn, Riek, Thiem and Günther still the top 5 that will advance straight through. And then it is Broadbent behind Chavez in 6th and 7th, Johnny Adam 8th, Juan Manuel Carrera in 10th, Tom Dillman in 10th position, Sophia Flörsch in 11th, Maxime Martin in 12th, Charlie Eastwood, Ben Yahia and Headley, the top 15. But we haven't really spoken about it a huge amount. You mentioned it at the start, Jolyon, but Danny Juncadella not making it through. Hopefully he can get in for the last chance qualifier, though, and still have a shot at being in the final.
Absolutely, yeah. He was one of the ones I was looking out for at the start of this, but never taking part and only doing that first qualifying lap as well. So maybe a mechanical issue, let's say, for Danny Juncadella. Chavez, that was a good move there on Broadbent. Broadbent, I think Jimmer was having a little gesticulation when we saw his camera, but I don't think Chavez did anything wrong there. He was clean up the inside into Brooklands, and Jimmer slightly turned in on him as well there. So good move from Chavez. He is now, though, 1.6 seconds off Günther, and there's only another lap after this one remaining, so it might be a little bit too little too late this time.
Here comes Rudy Van Buren then into the left-hander at Brooklands, now the right-hander at Lovefield. Bit of a slide through there, but no trouble for Rudy Van Buren, who out of the final corner books himself a place in the race All-Star Esports Battle Grand Final in commanding style across the line, 3.7 seconds ahead of Stoffel Van Dorn. Wolfgang Riep in 3rd place, 4th for Nicky Thiem, 5th for Max Günther. So Günther across the line in 5th spot is the last qualifier. In the end, less than a second ahead of Gabby Chavez, but Chavez couldn't quite make it work. A commanding victory then in the end for Rudy Van Buren, finishing ahead of Stoffel Van Dorn and Wolfgang Riep, and Nicky Thiem and Max Günther, the 5 drivers that advanced through straight to the grand final. Next up, we'll see the action from the 2nd pro race at Silverstone. Welcome back to the race's All-Star Esports Battle, where we've seen the first race be won by Rudy Van Buren. Qualifying's already happened for the 2nd race of pro drivers, and it's James Baldwin on pole position. Philip Eng is alongside him on the front row. Ed Jones, the IndyCar racer, will be 3rd, and Esteban Gutierrez, the former F1 driver, will line up in 4th place on the grid for this 11-lap race. Let's go see what happens. Wait for the lights. We won't be able to see the lights from this angle, but you'll see the marshal wave the green flag, and then that means the race will be underway. Quite a long hold, and a little bit of a twitch from Philip Eng, and away they go. So I don't know if Eng will get a penalty for that, for a little bit of a jump start, but it is James Baldwin who gets the best start and moves into the first corner in the lead. Ed Jones up into 2nd place, Eng drops down to 3rd. Then it's Bradley Smith in 4th position. Esteban Gutierrez is in 5th, but James Baldwin really the best at the start there, and got away very well indeed. It looks as though Eng is back up into 2nd position. Jones is in 3rd. 4th is Smith, and they're side by side for 2nd place as they come down the straight into Brooklands. But James Baldwin has got quite a clear advantage. Ed Jones is still in 2nd place ahead of Philip Eng, just about.
Yeah, Eng didn't really get away from the start at all. He jumped slightly before, I think. He might have Sebastian Vettel Suzuki'd it from last year. caught himself out from the front row and ended up losing a place. And again, that's allowed James Baldwin loads of space to just run away with it, a la Rudy Van Buren. Here we go for second.
Up the inside, still side by side between Eng and Jones. This is the kind of racing we were expecting from the Silverstone National Circuit as they come into Maggots and Beckett's now. Rosenqvist is in the race, so it looks as though it was just a DQ rather than a connection loss for Rosenqvist. So can he get up into the top 5 from 10th position? Baldwin leading the way. Second is Eng, third is Jones, fourth is Smith. Here they come down into the left-hander. Not 100% sure who's fifth, but hopefully we'll figure that out before too long. Doesn't matter, they've spun. And Ed Jones has been taken out in all of that and is dropping back down the order. No, the no-name driver is up into third place. Oh, Jones spins again. And that is going to really frustrate the IndyCar driver as he drops all the way down the order to 14th position.
Here we go, the replay. So look, last minute, Bradley Smith tucks into the inside and Ed Jones just turns in and gets his left rear tagged. And then I think he got going again and got hit by Smith again here. Look, yeah, Smith just on, to be fair, the inside line, nowhere else to go. And Jones just sort of drove across the track, not knowing he was coming with a bigger closing speed and got hit again. So real disaster for Jones. He was having a great race.
Yeah, it certainly was. And it is James Baldwin then leading the way. That's James Davison then. So James Davison is the no-name driver on the left. Because basically in the game he's just put James Davison 21 as his first name. So that's why his surname doesn't show up on the left-hand tower. But he is running in third position, just ahead of Bruno Spengler. And this is really tight actually. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth all together. And only the top 5 will advance through to the final that will be coming up in just over an hour's time. So Esteban Gutierrez there in 5th place. Then it's De Francesco behind. Philip Eng has made a bit of a gap in 2nd place. James Baldwin up in front, and look at that. James Davison trying to lose the slipstream. He's still got the inside line though, has Spengler. Couldn't quite find it. Gutierrez in 5th. James Baldwin leading. Eng in 2nd, Davison in 3rd, but for how long? Because here comes Bruno Spengler, wheel to wheel, bit of contact, Spengler goes out wide, Gutierrez, oh, he goes into the back of Spengler, they're both on the grass coming out of Kopp's corner, and that all allows De Francesco up into 4th position, Spengler down to 5th, Gutierrez down to 6th.
Melee, and it's all leading from this 3rd place battle now, so that's going all the way down to 7th place and Bradley Smith. Felix Rosenqvist is out of the race. He was on a charge up towards the top 8, but came a cropper somewhere. But now we've got this huge long line, all for 3rd place. Bruno Spengler absolutely in the mix, still defending, and that's Esteban Gutierrez sideways as well. Chaos.
As they come down into the first corner, Gutierrez is trying to get back past Spengler. All this has allowed Smith to join the fight, and Gutierrez could lose out to Smith here as they come into Maggots and Beckett's. Through the left, through the right, and then out onto the Wellington straight again. So this is now well, it's basically 3 cars now battling over the final qualifying spot because Spengler's dropped a bit behind De Francesco. So it's 3 for 1 place in the final as it stands. Gutierrez to the outside of Spengler. That's going to be an ambitious one. Can he get the inside for Luffield? Not this time. Oh no, and there's more contact with Gutierrez, and he's off, and he's wide, and he's lost the place.
He's going to get back past though on Bradley Smith on the exit at Luffield. So swapping places, Gutierrez back into 6th, which gives him the best chance to attack Spengler. Smith now is going to come back at him. Gutierrez defending in towards Kopp's corner and defending well enough that time. But it was a little bit ambitious, that one, into Brooklands. Just a little nose in on the inside then of Luffield, having gone the outside of Brooklands. And that was never going to work. Anyone who's watched enough races at Silverstone knows that that's the best way to lose a front wing. And Gutierrez pretty much did that. But that gap's now just opened up a bit to Bruno Spengler. 1 second that Spengler's got in that sacred 5th place that will see him through into the final.
So Esteban Gutierrez in 6th position now. Spengler and, Gutierrez and Smith need to be careful not to just fight each other the whole time and lose out to Spengler in that 5th position. But as it stands, it looks as though they are dropping away. Here comes the look to the inside from Smith, up the inside of Esteban Gutierrez in the green car, and Smith goes through. But all of this is just costing them more and more time for Spengler, who's now 1.6 seconds ahead and closing in on Di Francesco as they come into the right-hander at Beckett's.
Yeah, this battle's perfect for Spengler. In 5th place, as you say, closing back in on Di Francesco, but he doesn't really want to fight Di Francesco because they'll only slow each other up, which is exactly what Smith and Gutierrez are still doing. Weaving on the back straight, Bradley Smith. Gutierrez still tucked in behind him, and they're dropping away from Spengler all the while, nearly a second in the last lap and a half. So they're really knocking themselves out of this fight for 5th place. If they got their heads down together, they could bring themselves back into the fight with Spengler and Di Francesco. But right now, they're fighting each other so hard, they're losing too much time to those ahead.
Into Kopp's corner, they're fighting again. Gutierrez up the inside of Smith, but not quite able to make the move this time around. Lap 10 of 11, James Baldwin is out in the lead of the race. Eng in 2nd place, 5 seconds behind. We've got Di Francesco in 4th position, James Davison is in 3rd, Spengler in 5th position. Don't know why I did it in that particular order, the top 5, but there we go. It's they've got a bit of backmarkery coming up here, or have they all closed in on the back of Philip Eng? I think Eng might have had a spin. I think Philip Eng's had a spin at Copse, and all of a sudden has dropped behind James Davison and is just in front of Di Francesco and Spengler. Here they come down into Brooklands through the left-hander, and all of a sudden Eng under a lot of pressure. Out onto the start-finish straight again. James Baldwin has started his final lap of the race, but he's 9 seconds clear of James Davison in 2nd place, and there's the look. Oh, Philip Eng under pressure from Di Francesco, and you don't really want to be getting involved in an incident on the final lap. In 2nd place, number 11 is James Davison, just so you know, because his name is missing, his surname, but there's no such trouble for James Baldwin out in front in the lead of this race. Down into Brooklands for the final time. There's going to be a bit of action in behind here as Spengler tries to get past Di Francesco. You see in the box in the inset though, James Baldwin coming through the final corner. He takes the win and books himself a place in the final. James Davison is going to be there, so is Philip Eng, so is Di Francesco and Spengler, although Smith has closed right up to the back of Spengler, and in fact they're going to be right together as they come across the line, but just Spengler by 0.4 of a second books himself a place in the final. James Baldwin with the win. And to be honest, when Rudy Van Buren dominated his first race, I didn't think we'd see the likes of that again, but what a performance that was from James Baldwin.
Yeah, we didn't really see much of it, did we? He was so far ahead and didn't put a foot wrong. Philip Eng got away with that one because he only just held off Lachlan Di Francesco final lap into Copse and then was safe. Really good racing. And yeah, it was for that 5th place as well this time. So those just on the car, Di Francesco through, James Davison had a great race, but Gutierrez and Bradley Smith probably fighting each other too hard because they were so close in the end, but lost too much in that mid part of the race.
Another dominant drive from pole position then, a great victory for James Baldwin. James Davison doing a great job to get up into 2nd position, a very, very impressive drive, having started further back in the order. So we know 10 of the pros that will be going through to the grand final. When we come back, we'll find out which of the sim racers will be joining them. Welcome back to the Race All-Star Esports Battle, where we're pitting professional racing drivers against the best sim racers in the world, and it's time to see the sim races in action. Kevin Siggy took pole position in an incredibly close qualifying session. This race is going to be absolutely fascinating. Let's have a look. Here we go then, Kevin Siggy on pole position. The race gets underway.
cuts over quite quickly, does Siggy, and holds the lead. There's a good start further back in the pack. I think that might be Yovski, who's got up from 7th on the grid up into 5th position at Copse Corner. Really good start by Yovski. Biancalila's got past Blakely as they come into the right-hander of Beckett's. Kevin Siggy leading the way. Wisniewski looked as though he went in a little bit too deep and might put himself under a bit of pressure from Bono Huis now as they come down the Wellington Straight into the left-hander at Brooklands for the first time in this 11-lap race. Huis in the green car on the attack. Wisniewski covers the inside in the blue car. Kevin Siggy holds the lead. Can Huis go round the outside? I think he's done it. The Dutchman up into 2nd position. Wisniewski drops down into 3rd position. Across the line to complete lap 1. Kevin Siggy out in front. Oh, it's 3 wide almost for 2nd place. Huis, Wisniewski and Yovski. Yovski is carving up through the order. He started in 7th position and he's already up into 4th place, trying to gain a couple more places and get ahead of Wisniewski and Huis. What can Bono Huis do? Can he hold on to that 3rd spot as he comes down the Wellington Straight? This is going to be a long defensive race for Bono Huis in that 2nd position. We're on board with Yovski in the inset in the top right. Kevin Siggy disappearing out in front. Through Woodcote Corner. Lap 4 of 11. Siggy leading. Huis 2 seconds further back. Wisniewski in 3rd position, but he runs a little bit wide. Still David Greco completing the top 5. Greco, though, only just ahead of Berliak as they come out onto the Wellington Straight again. A lot of you saying we're getting the Bono train here, like the Trulli train. Doing a good job at the moment. Huis holding on in front, and in fact, these 3 have just managed to gap a little bit. The battle for 5th behind. David Greco under all sorts of pressure in 5th position and a big slide as he came out of Luffield. So Huis in 2nd, Wisniewski 3rd, Yovski 4th still. Who's in 5th? It's Kasdorp. So Kasdorp is up into 5th position, Berliak into 6th, David Greco has dropped down to 7th position. Into Brooklands once more. Now these 4 now take it steady. Siggy leading, Huis, Wisniewski and Yovski. The top 4 are now almost 2 seconds clear of Kasdorp in 5th position. Peter Berliak's in 6th spot. There is Yuri Kasdorp in 5th position at the moment. Managed to gap Peter Berliak quite well, actually. There's 0.6 of a second between them. So Yuri Kasdorp has done very well here, and out onto the Wellington Straight he comes. Greco will be frustrated, the Italian, that he's dropped back a little bit, and there was the move. Wisniewski went for it on Bono Huis. Did he get through? Don't think he did. Yovski in 4th. As ever, getting a load of stick for saying Bono Huis, but there you go. Lap 7 of 11.
Well, and Jack, I'll support you there as we wait for Jalen to fix his sound. But yeah, I am totally with you on the Bono Huis aspect, because I talk to him every single day almost, and he says it that way. So they can buzz off. He is looking really good in 2nd place. Good battle at the start, but again, this gives Siggy a massive lead. And like you say, this is the race where the sim racers have some money on the line. Watch out the battle for 3rd.
Wisniewski on the outside, Yovski trying to get through on the inside, and he's not quite able to get through. That gives Bono Huis a little bit of breathing space. I believe it's, I guess it's kind of like Charles Leclerc, isn't it? You say Leclerc, but he says, my name's Charles Leclerc. So it's a difficult one to know what to do. Here they come down to Copse Corner. Wisniewski just ahead of Yuyovski, going very defensive. Yuyovski to the outside. That's going to be quite a good move. If he pulls it off, he might have just done so. What a great move from Erhan Yuyovski round the outside at Kopp's corner to take third place. That was brilliant.
Another WFG surpriser in the competition. Yuyevski looking solid. Wisniewski, by the way, back in season 1, he nearly outqualified Rudy Van Buren in the first McLaren race we had on our Factor 2. He is a shout in the esports world. He is a very fast sim driver, and he's coming back at him. Look at the draft. Outside, but this gives him the right. Oh, they're going to overlap. Massive contact.
Whoa, that's a real shame, and they're going to lose places here. Petr Berliak gets up into 5th place, David Greco into 6th, and Erhan Yuyovski, after starting 7th, fighting his way all the way up into 3rd position, has now dropped way down to 10th place. Just got a little bit too close there, and now Wisniewski's under pressure from Petr Berliak, and that'll be so frustrating with just 3 laps to go that Yuyovski in particular has lost the place. Here's a look at what happened, Matt. What did you make of it?
I get the move. You want to hold the outside as much as possible, but I honestly think Wisniewski just pinches too tight, the overlap, and then at that point, wheels locked. Nothing you can do, but keep in mind, this means that the sim racers go into the same last chance qualifier as the real drivers. And Juncadeo, we hope, gets back into that. Rosenquist, we hope, gets back into that. But now you're throwing a bunch of talented sim racers in that mix. That race is going to be super cutthroat.
Yeah, it certainly is. Kevin Siggy's about to start lap 10 of 11, so the penultimate lap of the race in a couple of moments' time. Bono Huis in 2nd position, Yuri Kastorp in 3rd. 4th is Wisniewski. Then we've got Petr Berliak in 5th, only 7/10 ahead of David Greco, but Greco doesn't look like he's quite got the race pace to get up and overtake Petr Berliak. We'll have to wait and see, but he started in 5th and has dropped back a couple of places, so I don't think Greco's going to be much of a challenge. Further back, you've got the likes of Michi Hoyer. Here's Yuyovski trying to carve his way back through the order. He's in the green and black car. He's got ahead of Kamil Pawlowski and is now trying to get past Michi Hoyer, but it might be too little too late, I think, for Yuyovski. Side by side into the left-hander at Brooklands. Yuyovski getting all out of shape. And he's just still ahead of Pawlowski. We've got Jolyon back with us, I believe. You here, Palmer?
Hey, Jack, how are we doing? This is a good race. This is good. I've been enjoying it in stuttered silence, but some great races, still wheel-to-wheel into Copps. And again, the top 4 breaking through look like they should be okay. And Berliak still got Greco pretty close, last lap.
So Kevin Siggy starts the final lap of the race, as you say, and David Greco has closed in a bit on Petr Berliak. I wasn't 100% sure he had the pace, but I don't think he'll be close enough coming down into the left-hander in the final corner. So here comes Kevin Siggy. Many people's favourite for the win this weekend, has done himself no harm with a very strong qualifying performance and an even stronger race to take victory and the prize money and a place in the final in the race's All-Star Esports battle. Bono Huis across the line in 2nd position, Yuri Kastorp in 3rd place, Wisniewski in 4th, and Petr Berliak completing the top 5. A good race, that one. Bono Huis doing a lot of defending early on and managed to hold on to that 2nd place despite all that pressure.
Kevin Siggy really putting himself out as one of the men to watch in this competition. Good to see Bono Huis getting back towards the front as well with his 2nd place finish. It's been a while since he's been at the front in our Factor 2, so good for him. And Yuri Kastorp showing what he can do, maybe for the first time in the race All-Star Esports battle. So we know the 5 sim racers that will be taking on the pro drivers. There's just 5 spots up for grabs, and they are going to go to the top 5 in the last chance qualifier, the final opportunity for the pro drivers to make it through to the final, and that's coming up in a couple of moments' time. Hello and welcome back to the Race All-Star Esports Battle. There are just 5 places left in the grand final, and those 5 places are going to go to professional racing drivers. But these are the drivers in the last chance qualifier. They haven't made it through yet. This is their one final opportunity to advance through. Danny Juncadella, who was so impressive last time out in Indianapolis, finishing top of the professional drivers and amongst all the sim racers, he's going to be starting from pole position. Let's see if he can book his place in the grand final.
Here they go then, they're all lined up, waiting for the green flag to drop. The last chance qualifier with Jones Soda is underway. Good start from Juncadella. Chavez already up into 4th place as he tries to get past Tom Dillman. We're on board in the middle there with Charlie Eastwood, who can't quite get past Ed Jones. So Ed Jones holds on to 2nd place, Charlie Eastwood 3rd, side by side between Chavez and Dillman for 4th position. Then Esteban Gutierrez has made up a place, and in fact Gutierrez has just got up into 4th place. So Gutierrez in the green car, past the 2 that were going side by side. There's all sorts of carnage at the back. I think Archie Hamilton is caught up in that. But Danny Juncadella it is, leading the way down into the first corner. Bradley Smith trying to get involved in the fight because just up in front of him is Tom Dillman, and in front of him is Gabby Chavez in that 5th spot. Out over the start line. Smith trying to get past Dillman again, looks to the outside, able to do it, this time at least. Runs a bit wide, Gutierrez under pressure from Chavez. Gabby Chavez in front, trying to go side by side with Gutierrez, runs out wide, tries to get the cut back and might get a run on the Mexican coming down the Wellington straight. The top 3 of Juncadella, Jones, Eastwood have got away a little bit. Gutierrez has to go a little bit defensive. Not hugely, though. Chavez to the outside. Oh, there's all sorts of chaos further back. Dillman is caught up in that. He's gone spinning around. I think Smith was involved too. Gutierrez in 5th place, coming out across the line to start lap 3 of 11. Juncadella leading. Jones 2nd, Eastwood 3rd, Chavez 4th. 5th is Gutierrez now, trying to get past Gabby Chavez as they come down to Maggots and Beckett's. Through the right-hander. And once again, we've got Sadakist with us as our little stand-in commentator for when Joeyans are calling
It's no Counter-Strike, but it's all right. Yeah, I'll be Baby J-Log today. I'm okay with that.
And there goes Gutierrez back past Chavez. But once again, we're seeing this top 5 kind of break away from everyone else.
I'm a bit surprised by that. Again, last chance qualifier, they'll be loving it. Guys like Chavez, who gets a bit of a gap back towards Smith. Dillman, I know, all week has been called out from other drivers for being hyper-aggressive on sim. So watch for him. If he can get a sniff at all towards Smith, he'll go for it. Big battle into Cops as well. It's hard to hold the outside, but you can tuck back in and maybe, not if you run that wide, get a draft back down toward Maggot. It's not going to happen this time. In fact, he's going to come under threat from a car behind as they get more and more deep into the breaking point. This could lead to a massive tow on the Wellington straight.
Yeah, Bradley Smith's got a really good run through that right-hander, now out on the Wellington straight. They're all weaving around to try and lose the tow. Gutierrez in the end decides on the inside. To the outside goes Bradley Smith. Just looks a little bit too far back to make the move that time, and indeed he is.
This is backing them up. I mean, everyone's going to get in on this. Even Adam can get a chance to... Oh, there's contact. That's not ideal. That's Jimmy Broadbent-style punterino if I've ever seen one. And the front wing gone. That might be race over on that move.
That was a replay. I'm not sure who that was a replay of. It might have been Alvarez Brown, to be honest with you, because he's now dropped out of the running. So not 100% sure who that was in the replay, but we're now on lap 5 of 11 with Juncadella leading still. Jones 2nd, Eastwood 3rd, Chavez 4th, Bradley Smith in 5th, just ahead of Gutierrez, who's just in front of Tom Dillman. Now, Dillman had that moment a little bit earlier on, dropped down the order, and he's now right on the back of the Mexican, Esteban Gutierrez. Looks to the inside. Can he get that done? Oh, he's a bit too far back. Gutierrez comes in, takes the apex, and holds on to the position.
This is the battle for fifth, though. This is the last spot through, and Chavez gets a bit of a gap in front. But again, it's the draft, and I think Dillman's biding his time. It's only lap 5.
Gutierrez holding on to 6th place at the moment, just in front of Tom Dillman. Down the back straight. Again, Gutierrez covers the inside. Can't quite get through there, Dillman. But like you say, this is just dropping them further and further back from Bradley Smith in 5th position. You feel like they need to just be a little bit more sensible, I suppose.
Well, the problem is now, the R factor toe is quite sensitive, and if you drop out of it too far, you do lose it, and Smith's going to break that toe very soon. So this move matters. Outside, good hold from Dillman. Gutierrez, wow, I say good hold. A little bit extra tarmac use. That might be a bit of a problem, but that might give him the release that he needs. If he can track down Smith now, it's not the end of the world for Gutierrez, because he can take advantage of them battling and still work his way back in this by being smooth.
Yeah, I think in the real world that might have ended up in a bit of a penalty for Tom Dillman, but he's got 6th position at the moment as they come down. This is James Headley defending from Juan Manuel Correa, and behind them, oh, and there's contact. Round goes Headley, round goes Correa, and they're all getting caught up in the incident there. And Max Martin manages to get through and gain 2 places. That all got a bit messy down in the battle for 15th place.
Extremely messy. And I just want to point out as well at the front, though, from the other side of that, obviously last chance, we're seeing a few mistakes at the back. But guys like Ed Jones, obviously Juncadella had the technical issue, couldn't race the first one, but Ed Jones had the spin in his race, and he's looking super comfortable in second. I mean, that's why this race is so important. And it's good to see most of the real drivers actually up at the front, really holding their own right now, and I guess with a chance in the shout toward the final. It's going to be a tough one. I think there's some heavy favorites against them, but Juncadella certainly can make his way into the final and still be a surprise.
And it's yet another race that the leader is unchallenged as well. I've just got back after watching the first 9 laps of your commentary, but yeah, Juncadella is just doing a great job, 2.5 seconds out front. Jones as well, doing a good job. He nearly made it through in the heats alone. But again, the leader unchallenged all the way through, and the battles have come further down. Still, it's quite close. 4th, 5th, 6th of Chavez, Smith and Dillman are all pretty close. That's the battle, because again, the top 5 is where you need to be in this race.
So, final lap of the race now for Danny Juncadella with his exaggerated lead of 3.5 seconds over Ed Jones in 2nd place. Is Sebastian Montoya under pressure from Harry Tinknell. But now we're back with Danny Juncadella leading the way. Gutierrez looks as though he's going to hold on to that 5th place on a spot in the final, as Juncadella swings into the left-hander. This has been a commanding race from the Spaniard. Shame no Felix Rosenqvist out here to fight, but here comes Danny Juncadella, who was the strongest racer of the pro racers last time, and he's booked himself a place in the Grands final by winning the Jones Soda last chance qualifier. Ed Jones across the line in 2nd position. 3rd for Charlie Eastwood, who has had another strong performance. Gabby Chavez in 4th. Esteban Gutierrez completing the top 5, the Mexican, with Johnny Adam up into 6th place. That's a better performance, actually, this race from Johnny Adam. He was sort of mired in the mid to lower pack in the last chance qualifier last time, but ended up just 1 spot outside the top 5.
It was a surprise Danny Juncadella wasn't already in the final, but he has managed to book his place finally. Ed Jones, the IndyCar racer, coming with him, and good to see Esteban Gutierrez finishing in 5th place and just squeezing into the grand final. But when we come back, there'll be a little bit of something different. The Legends race will be getting underway. 1970s F1 cars driven by legends like Emerson Fittipaldi and Dario Franchitti. You're not going to want to miss this. Hello and welcome back to the Race All-Star Esport Challenge. Before we get underway with the grand final, we've got a Legends race coming up. This is going to be really special, the ALLSTAR Esports final, some people are unfairly calling it, but we've got Dario Franchitti in the mix. Emerson Fittipaldi is going to be racing. Juan Pablo Montoya is on pole position with Emanuele Pirro alongside him on the front row of the grid. It's a really, really stunning field. Can't wait to watch this race unfold.
We can speak to Emerson Fittipaldi, I believe. Emerson, how are you doing? Are you all ready to go?
Good. I'm exhausted. I'm trying to improve my lap time, but I'm having so much fun. You know, I know Silverstone for many years. I started racing in England, Formula 4, Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 1 in Silverstone. But it's difficult. I'm practice for the next race. I'm going to be top 5.
Okay. Did you drive the BT44 in real life?
No, I race against. I was driving the McLaren M23 when Carlos Reutemann raced and Carlos Pacho, this beautiful Brabham.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you and good luck.
Well, I need a lot of luck and I need much more experience, much more practice. And I'm still sweating. I'm 2 hours inside the cockpit now, non-stop. I think I did 1,500 laps.
Wow. Okay, well, thank you very much, Emerson. Best of luck in the race. There we go. Here's the full entry list, and it's just mad, the drivers we have out there.
Yeah, you can't say they don't have experience. But who was it? Greco, who was saying after a sim race, hadn't been in it, that he was a bit rusty. Well, that doesn't bode very well for some of these guys, particularly the likes of Emerson Fittipaldi. So it's probably a good thing he's been pounding around for a couple of hours trying to just get up to speed with it all, because maybe there's a little bit of rusty behaviour.
This is going to be quite the fight in the Legends race. Part of the race is All-Star Esports Battle, and these are the Old Stars getting ready to race as the lights go green. Now, good getaway, from Emanuele Pirro, carving into the lead of the race, goes ahead of Juan Pablo Montoya. So Pirro leads, Montoya's hit him. Round they both go at turn 1. It's like 1973 as they all hit into each other on the exit of Copse Corner, and I would classify that as not having gone well.
Carambolage, that was and it all came from that man, Juan Pablo Montoya, who's resumed right at the back, just getting into the back of Emanuele Pirro, who had the better start. Montoya just tipped him into the spin. They got such lack of grip already. They got a bit of a slide on it. It's very difficult to catch. And then everyone else just shunting into those two stricken cars. And, with the few that snuck through were Franchitti, Turner and Priaulx, and they're the top 3 right now.
So Dario Franchitti leading at the end of lap 1 of 11. He's 7/10 of a second ahead of Darren Turner in second place. Andy Priaulx's in third spot. David Brabham is 4th. Adrian Fernandez is in 5th place. Herta 6th. De Ferran 7th. Canaan 8th. Pirro 9th. Fittipaldi in 10th position. And here's a look at the replay, Jolien.
Yeah, so it's just there, Montoya. It's just a little tiny tap on the back of Pirro, really not much, but then everyone just drills into him. And I'll tell you what, I think he's glad that it's a sim race only from that one. That was a pretty hefty contact, about 5 times.
Franchitti into the left-hander now. Turner's staying with him here.
Yeah, well, didn't Franchitti start getting back into sim racing using Darren Turner's company, his base performance simulators? So now the two of them are running 1-2 and just about managing to drop Andy Priaulx, who's still doing a good job in third. But they're two of the younger legends probably in the field, Franchitti and Darren Turner, and doing a good job. But then how can they be so consistent in these difficult cars? That's going to be difficult and under huge pressure for Dario Franchitti out front in particular.
Now this is Tony Kanaan running in 7th position. He is trying to fight his way past Brian Herta. So the 49-year-old Herta, the ex-Champ Car and IndyCar team owner, the 1993 Indy Lights champion, coming under a bit of pressure from Tony Kanaan. Down into Brooklands. Oh, he's gone for it there, Kanaan. No, not quite. But a great fight between Herta and Kanan, and we've seen Colton Herta out, Brian Herta's son, in a lot of races so far. So great to have him in the fight. Max Papis is there, running in 10th place, right up behind Tiago Monteiro. The Portuguese racer Monteiro, just in front of the Italian Max Papis, 5-time Le Mans podium finisher, 3-time Champ Car race winner Papis, up against Tiago Monteiro, former Formula 1 driver for Jordan.
Former podium finisher for Jordan in US in 2005, Tiago Monteiro. Some serious Formula 1 pedigree. Just holding off Max Papis then in the battle for ninth. Someone's rejoining there, and that's Hiro.
So Emanuele Pirro has made a mistake at Beckett's, has rejoined the track, and who's that? Spinning back onto the circuit. It's all sorts of chaos further back. Is that, was it Franchitti? Him and Turner are very close together. No, I think he's still going, Dario Franchitti. It looked like his sort of blue-purpley car. Brabham is up into 3rd place, battling with Andy Prio, but Franchitti's still leading.
Here we go, he's still very close though. Look to the inside at Beckett's, that'll do. Too deep though on the brakes. And Papis straight back through. Really good racing all the way down. And very respectful between these two as well. 8th and 9th, Papis and Brian Herta.
But here's Pirro getting past Tiago Monteiro. So Emanuele Pirro up into 5th position. Tiago Monteiro down into 6th place as Pirro tries to climb back up the order. He's got 10 seconds to get to Adrian Fernandez out in front. Franchitti still leading as he starts lap 7 of 11. Darren Turner in 2nd spot, 1.3 seconds back. David Brabham is in 3rd position, 4th for Fernandez, 5th for Pirro, Monteiro, Magnussen, Papis, Herta and Montoya. The rest of the top 10. Franchitti leading 1.1 seconds ahead of Darren Turner in 2nd place. Then it's David Brabham here in 3rd position. A handful of Formula 1 starts for David Brabham with the SimTech team. Has since gone on to, well, and before that as well, raced in all sorts of things as David Brabham, the 54-year-old Australian, a 3-time Le Mans winner. Round goes Jan Magnussen. He and Tiago Monteiro coming together, and that is 2 places gained for Juan Pablo Montoya, who's now back up into, well, he was back up into 6th place, but then he ended up in the gravel. So Montoya dropping down the order. Up in the top right, you are on board, I think, with Dario Franchitti, but Magnussen having a little bit of a spin, but still holds on to 6th place after all that.
Yeah, and Montoya, I think, lost it all on his own, trying to avoid both Magnussen and whoever he hit. I can't remember now. But where's Andy Prio gone? Prio was the man in 3rd, and he's just vanished off our timing screen. So maybe a DNF for Andy Prio, which has put David Brabham up into 3rd place.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So Andy Prio maybe in a little bit of trouble somewhere, or has had a bit of a disconnect. Lap 9 of 11, Dario Franchitti leading, still just 1 second ahead. Tiago Monteiro super late on the brakes, trying to get past Max Papis for 7th position. They're all starting to spread out a little bit. But this is the thing. Whoa, late in the day, Monteiro up the inside of Max Papis. And that's 7th place.
Nice move there. And they're both back to where they were pretty much, 6th and 7th.
Now, the interesting thing here is whether these guys are going to get the bug and whether they'll be, we'll have a Legends race every weekend. Oh, there's someone arriving backwards into Brooklands. And it was Brabham. It was David Brabham, spun around and has lost 3rd place now to Adrian Fernandez. We're on board with Dario Franchitti, though, starting the final lap of the race. Lap 11 of 11 for the Scotsman.
Doing everything right so far. Dario Franchitti, still 1.2 seconds. Can't afford to put a wheel wrong at the moment. But he hasn't for 10 laps, still sliding it into Beckett and onto the back straight. That's Emerson Fittipaldi, who he's trying to put a lap on but doesn't need to, just ahead. So Franchitti still with no one ahead in terms of race performance. There's more cars rejoining. That's Brian Herta coming out of Brooklands. But here we go, Franchitti, one more corner.
Through the final corner at Luffield, and in the first Legends race of the race's all-star esports battle. It's going to be Dario Franchitti that wins again, once again on the top step of the podium. Franchitti victorious at Silverstone, 1.2 seconds ahead of Darren Turner in second place, and Adrian Fernandez is going to finish in third position, just ahead of David Brabham, who will be kicking himself for that spin down at Brooklands. And yeah, let's hope these drivers get the bug and then want to do it again, I guess.
Yeah, it was good stuff. The level was really high, particularly the top 2 or 3, including Prio, who vanished. But Franchitti and Turner, really good pace, consistency, and never making any mistakes despite having a lot of pressure.
So Franchitti wins, and it is second for Darren Turner, third for Adrian Fernandez, fourth for David Brabham, fifth for Emanuele Pirro, sixth for Jan Magnussen, Jules Ferran 11th. Emerson Fittipaldi, after only 2 hours practice, that's a good effort to get to the end, quite frankly. I know that sounds a little bit patronising, but the 73-year-old did a very good job there. I think we've got Emanuele Pirro to talk to us now. Emanuele, I mean, a shame about the start, but you had a good race back through the order.
Yeah, well, I would like to say bloody South Americans with all due respect, because because Juan Pablo just had a very optimistic braking on turn 1. I was happy with the start. It was good, and then I had a collision with Tony Kanaan. But apart from this, it was really great, and the old cars are so cool, you know, just the power slide, and I really enjoyed it very much. Often I thought I would have liked to be a racing driver of the 60s and the 70s, and I can only confirm that. Thank you guys for that.
Great, thank you, Emanuele.
Well, how fantastic was that to watch those legends of motorsport racing it out in the sim world. Pirro and Montoya colliding at the first corner, Dario Franchitti coming through to win. It was really, really brilliant stuff. But coming up next, we've got what we all came for, the Race All-Star Esports Battle Grand Final in a couple of minutes' time. Hello and welcome back to the Race All-Star Esports Battle, and it's time now for the grand final. We're pitching professional racing drivers up against sim racing drivers. Some of the best in the world are about to compete in a 22-lap race to decide the winner for round 3. It's the sim racers that have locked out the front 2 rows. Nikodem Wisniewski's on pole position, Bono Huis alongside him, and then the 2 world's fastest gamer winners, James Baldwin and Rudy Van Buren, are on the second row. This is going to be an intense race. Let's see what happens.
Wait for the lights. 22 laps this one. Away they go. Good start from Wisniewski. Bono Huis doesn't really challenge him down towards the first corner. In fact, the top 7 pretty much all just slot in together as they swing to the right-hander for the first time and let the slipstreaming battle commence. But again, the pole sitter, Wisniewski, has just got that little bit of a margin over Bono Huis. We're on board in the inset with Kevin Siggy, I think, losing a place to Kastorp. So Kastorp on the right-hand side, Siggy trying to get back. Someone is all over the place on the grass on the exit of Beckett's, but Wisniewski it is who is leading the way. Huis in second, goes in a little bit deep. Van Buren third, Baldwin fourth, Siggy fifth.
Yeah, Huis didn't need to be having a look at the inside of Wisniewski there in Oaklands. That's cost him a little bit of time and put him back towards Van Buren. because until that he was right with the race leader, but he's coming back now in the slipstream, so less than 3/10 away, and now we have got a race on at the front. Wisniewski's not done enough to get away, and now the slipstream should just help Huis, Van Buren, Baldwin, Siggy and Karsdorp all keep with Wisniewski out front.
Lap 2 of 22. Out onto the Wellington straight. Down towards Brooklands. Wisniewski in the lead in the blue car. Bono Huis in second place in the green. Third is the red of Rudy Van Buren that you're riding on board with in the top right. There's a move for fourth position. Kevin Siggy going past James Baldwin. Baldwin tries to hang on around the outside and can't get it done. So Kevin Siggy up into fourth spot now. Here they come towards Brooklands once more. Nicky Thiem out of the race. There's a bit of defensive driving further back in the order. I think that's the 7th place. That is Engem Berliak battling it out. Now into the right-hander of Luffield and out across the line. Wisniewski 3/10 of a second ahead of Bono Huis in second place, who's 3/10 ahead of Rudy Van Buren. If anything, those top three have made a little bit of a gap as they come into turn one. You can see from those high camera angles the difference, can't you? Because Huis was closer to Wisniewski on the way into the corner, but then Van Buren closed in on the way out. And he goes wide into Beckett's, and that'll give him a good run on Huis as they come out over the Wellington straight again.
Yeah, I think Huis might be under a bit of pressure now at the end of this straight. Siggy is catching the back of these three in front, I think, very, very slowly. But if they start fighting, they're going to fall back into the hands of Kevin Siggy and really open themselves up for attack. Bono Huis there was a bit wide as well into Brooklands, so that's just allowing every time Wisniewski just to extend the gap as they come out of Luffield to start another lap, and means he's not under huge pressure. And it's always Bono Huis who's under more pressure from Rudy Van Buren just behind.
To Luffield, oh, and is that Wisniewski going round? I think it is. Wisniewski's on the grass, the race leader, and Rudy Van Buren leads the way. Rudy Van Buren is in the lead, Huis into second. Was there contact at Luffield? We'll try and get you a replay of that. But whatever the who did what to whom, it's Rudy Van Buren leading the way. Huis in second. Yuri Kastorp has a bit of a twitch in fourth place, but all of a sudden, things go very, very badly wrong for Wisniewski, who drops all the way down to 8th position.
Yep, here we go then. Here's the replay. So Wisniewski was defending, and then spin is he by Bono Huis, and we saw that move. And it's just that nose in at Luffield. It always happens. You turn in, you lose your front wing. And for that time round, it was Wisniewski who was the real loser. Bono Huis has just retaken the lead from Rudy Van Buren, so he's got away with it. Wisniewski's gone from what was the lead down to 8th place. His race is in tatters.
So here they come into the first corner, and Yayovsky's just put an interesting message on the YouTube chat. But Bono Huis in front, Rudy Van Buren in second place, and Van Buren now is under pressure from Kevin Siggy, who's climbing back up through the order.
Yeah, Siggy's a real threat here. Van Buren went a bit wide on the exit of turn one. Here comes Siggy, who's been really quick, won their heat quite easily. Is he going to look for the inside? Not quite into Brooklands that time. Had a little think, but in the end, just a bit of diversion tactics. And Karsdorp is right with them as well. So we've now got a 4-car train for the lead. And Bono Huis is not getting away right now because the gap's still 3/10. He's not able to break the toe at that distance. Siggy right now not able to make inroads. He's gone really wide, as has Van Buren, and that should be Karsdorp with the inside for 3rd place there down towards Beckett.
Karsdorp has it, but Siggy's very late on the brakes, runs it round the outside, somehow holds on to that 3rd position. Bono Huis up in front, only 4/10 ahead of Rudy Van Buren, who's going to try and get through, but he's just a little bit too far adrift. Siggy goes defensive as Karsdorp in the red car goes to the outside, but he can't make that move stick. So we're 10 laps in, and the top 8 cars are covered by 3.8 seconds. It's incredibly close racing here in the race's All-Star Esports battle. Bono Huis leading the way, Rudy Van Buren in 2nd position, Kevin Siggy 3rd, just 0.8 of a second between them. Esteban Gutierrez has just got ahead of Bruno Spengler in the battle for 14th position. And really, Juncadella is just a little bit adrift in 9th position. I think Philip Eng is doing a really good job. Siggy, does he fancy the look into Beckett's? Oh, not quite. Rudy Van Buren covering the inside, and all of a sudden, Huis's advantage is just going to creep up to a second now. So he's made a bit of a break at the front. Now they're going to go side by side with Siggy on the outside in the grey car. Can he get all the way around the outside? This contact, Siggy's off, and he's lost the rear, got on the grass. And Kevin Siggy goes spinning down the order. Many people's favourite for the win is out of contention.
Real shame that. Siggy on the outside, and it was Van Buren on the inside, and they seemed to just come together. Siggy turning in and just catching Van Buren wheel to wheel, and Siggy's the real loser from that. The real winner is Bono Huis, who's now got a 2.5 seconds advantage. He's now looking like he's broken the toe, and the battle that we can see now is Van Buren holding back Karsdorp. And that's now the battle for second with Kevin Siggy, who was looking so quick. He won Heat 3 so well, but spinning down the order, and it's all come undone for him as well. So we've lost Wisniewski, and now we've lost Kevin Siggy as well.
This is turning into a race of attrition, isn't it? Lots of action at the front of this final. Rudy Van Buren then in second place ahead of this man, Yuri Karsdorp, coming through Luffield Corner and out onto the start-finish straight again to start lap 14 of 22. And there's just 3 or 4 tenths of a second between them as they come across the start-finish line now. Lap 14 of 22. 2 red cars doing battle over second place. Van Buren and Karsdorp. James Baldwin's in fourth, and actually only just in front of Philip Eng here. Eng's got a chance of squeezing into the top 4 if he has a good run.
He's doing a great job. Just, was he half a second away from James Baldwin at the moment? So Eng is flying. And he's actually getting a good slipstream now on the back straight. Still a fair way to go in this race, the longer grand final. Karsdorp not quite close enough on the back of Van Buren this time, but Eng is coming with Baldwin, and they're all going to close up in the battle for second.
Here is Peter Berliak, just ahead of Wisniewski, who was the pole man, the race leader, the front runner. He's going past Peter Berliak here. On a bit of a mission, actually, and to get back up into 6th place is a good effort. Gabby Chavez and Max Gunter fighting over 16th position. But, yeah, he's... Wisniewski back up into 6th spot, but he's about 1.3 seconds off the back of Philip Eng. Here's the battle for second place. Is there going to be a move here down into Brooklands? Not this time. Yuri Karsdorp just biding his time, I guess.
Yeah, he hasn't got a lot of time left to go. I think probably he realises that unless Bono Huis makes a big mistake out front, second's the best he's going to get right now, because Rudy Van Buren is just driving a tidy race, but dropping back all the way from the race leader.
Wisniewski now, I think that's a replay of him going past Peter Berliak, isn't it, and up into 6th position. Closing in a little bit on Philip Eng, not quite close enough to make a move yet, but we're on lap 20 of 22. Bono Huis's lead is 1.5 seconds ahead of Rudy Van Buren, and to be honest, Van Buren is now about 7 tenths ahead of Yuri Karsdorp in 3rd place, so it's dropped away a little bit, that gap, and it's starting to settle down a little bit, so Karsdorp maybe not biding his time here. So this is the view that Bono Huis has and these sim racers have at home as he comes into turn 1. Now through the right-hander of Luffield and out onto the start-finish straight again. Bono Huis across the line to start the final lap of the race. Lap 22 of 22 in the grand final of the race's All-Star Esports battle. Going to be 2 Dutch winners in a row after Rudy Van Buren took victory last time. And in fact, Van Buren's going to slot into a 2nd place here, isn't he? So that's going to be a win and a second. He's very much a front runner. But here now comes Bono Huis into the final corner. A race of attrition, this one. Lots of action up at the front. And it's Bono Huis, the young Dutchman, who has emerged on top to take the win in round 3 of the race's All-Star Esports battle. Bono Huis victorious again. 2nd across the line for Rudy Van Buren. And it is going to be 3rd for Yuri Karsdorp. Great drive from Bono Huis. Rudy Van Buren 2nd, Karsdorp 3rd, Baldwin 4th, and Philip Eng, shout out to him, 5th place in front of Wisniewski, Berliak, and some of the other sim drivers. So I think we can now hear from our race winner. Bono Huis, I think, is waiting to talk to us. First of all, talk us through the action at Lovefield with Wisniewski.
Yeah, it feels good to finally win something again. It's been a while. Start was okay. I tried to follow Wisniewski into turn 1, turn 2, and try and get a run on him in turn 3, but it didn't work out. Nearly crashed already in the first lap. And then it was difficult to stay in the dirty air because you lose a lot of downforce on the front into turn 1, so that's the place where you want to be close. But yeah, I could stay close for one lap, and I knew that this was my chance, so I tried around the outside, and he pushed me off the track already there. And then turning in for the last corner, I was already on the curb on the inside, and we made contact, and then sort of kept making contact all the way through the corner. And fortunately, this time I was fine, unlike last week, and unfortunately for him, he spun.
What is it that means you're sort of back at the front now?
Just like the car, really. I had a good pace as well last week at Indy, but sort of messed up qualifying there, and then just sort of, yeah, was stuck in a bit of a mess and lost out by one spot to get to the final. But yeah, the pace felt good last week, and I really enjoyed this car. And today, from the very first lap, I really enjoyed the track as well. So the pace was there from the start.
Cool. Well, congratulations. A great win.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it feels good.
So it's Bono Huis who wins round 3 of the race All-Star Esports Battle. What a bitty race that was. Huis, a little bit of a contentious move for the lead, but he felt he had the inside line and he went on to take the win in fairly commanding style in the end. And a big shout out to Philipp Eng, 5th place for the professional racing driver, the top of the pros, battling it out with these sim racers. Hope you've enjoyed today's action. It's really been fun commentating on it, especially seeing the legends out there. Make sure you join us next time for another edition of the Race All-Star Esports Battle.